to the Pink Flamingo Network, starring Poppy Ortiz and JUSOLO. That's right. Alright guys, today we are here to discuss my personal top 5 favorite Christopher Nolan films of all time, and we're going to rank these starting from 5 all the way to my top pick. So let's get started. And coming in at number 5, Memento. Alright, without getting into too many spoilers today, Memento, first film by Christopher Nolan. It was co-written by his brother Jonathan Nolan, which is pretty dope that they got to work together. Super inventive idea, and it's definitely a great introduction into what Christopher Nolan does as a director, and also how he likes to have these high concept ideas for films. Basically, the entire film goes back and forth between playing in reverse. So, you know, the movie starts off with how the movie really ends and everything like that, and then it kind of goes back and forth between black and white scenes and color sequences, and the color sequences are in reverse. It was a very inventive way to storytell. Definitely a great first outing for Christopher Nolan. Amazing movie. If you haven't checked it out, go for it, man. And coming in at number 4, Dunkirk. This film was also written by Christopher Nolan, based on a depiction of the Dunkirk evacuation in World War II. This is the first time that we actually get to see Christopher Nolan take on a war piece, so that was pretty awesome. And everything that Christopher Nolan does as a filmmaker, how he loves everything to be so big, and his movies are absolutely meant to be seen in movie theaters. And there's not too many directors right now that are making movies that you feel like you have to go see in the movie theaters. Every single time out to bat, he's always that guy. Great war film, a lot of great action. A lot of those sequences inside the fighter jets are absolutely gorgeous. He really captures the aesthetic of World War II and really how crazy that Dunkirk evacuation was. So definitely a great film. And if you love war films, this is one to go check out. You can't go wrong. And coming in at number 3, The Prestige. Now we're really getting into the films that I love from Nolan the most. This is an amazing psychological thriller, and it really takes you back to the 1890s when magic was this big spectacle that everybody went to see like it was a movie. Starring Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. Obviously, Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan have an amazing relationship together as actor and director. And Michael Caine is also in it. That was a horrible Michael Caine impression, but I'm not good at impressions, guys. And without spoiling too much, the film is really about two magicians. A tragedy happens to where they no longer like each other, and they have a really strong disdain for each other. They both go on their separate ways and start their own magic careers, and they will go to the depths and do a lot of dark things just to outwit each other and be the best magicians that they can. Absolutely amazing film. If you have not seen it, please go check out The Prestige, especially if you're a fan of thrillers and you want something that can really get under your skin. It's a great film to go watch, so please, if you haven't seen that, go right over and watch The Prestige. Coming in at number 2, could have been my number 1, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, in my opinion, is one of the best superhero movies of all time, my personal favorite superhero of all time. I think it has the best villain performance of all time. Just an extremely captivating film. Obviously, we have Christian Bale as Batman and Heath Ledger as Joker, which ended up being an amazing casting, obviously. History told that story. But what makes this movie so special is how Christopher Nolan decided to attack a superhero film. He went at it with a lot more of a grounded take. The villains that he chose weren't these supernatural characters or beings. He found more grounded characters within the Batman mythology and decided, hey, I'm going to tell a more grounded Batman story where it actually feels like, you know, if there was an actual Gotham or aka New York City, whatever it's supposed to be, that if that were real, Batman would actually live in this universe. So it absolutely feels 100% authentic to the environment that he decided to create. And you get an amazing back and forth between the Joker and Batman. Heath Ledger takes it to a next level and absolutely knocks it out of the park as Joker, one of my favorite Jokers. There's something about the character Joker that brings out the best in some actors, obviously Heath Ledger and now Joaquin Phoenix. There's just something about those really great actors that going into that role kind of brings something really special and different. You know, all of the Jokers are extremely different from each other. And we actually get to see Batman do some detective work more than other films and really struggle with the idea of how long can you stay a hero before people start to look at you as the villain, which is a great theme and storyline throughout the entire film and is one of the main reasons why I love the movie so much. There's a lot of great messaging in it. The cinematography is absolutely amazing, and we have some of the best performance in superhero movies, period. So number 2 goes to you, Dark Knight. And absolutely last but not least, coming in at number 1, Inception. So this one actually was a tough one. I was battling between this and Dark Knight, but if we're going to be completely honest, Inception is one of my favorite movies of all time, probably in my top 10 films of all time. And being a 90s baby, Christopher Nolan has meant so much to me as a filmmaker because I got to grow up with his catalog along with Quentin. So those two directors for me really, mean a lot. This is the first and only time that we got to see Leonardo DiCaprio and Christopher Nolan team up together. and it's absolutely one of the best movies of the last decade, one of my favorite movies of all time. We have Jason Gordon-Levitt. We have another recurring actor in Christopher Nolan's catalog, Michael Caine. Still can't do a fucking accent on this guy, Jesus Christ. And the first time that I actually got to see Tom Hardy, I'm not sure if he's been in another film before this, but this was the first time that I found out who he was, and I got to notice exactly who he was. Overall, great cast, but I think, in my personal opinion, this is Christopher Nolan's best and highest concept that he has came up with a film. Obviously, we haven't seen Tenet yet, so I feel like this is his most ambitious idea. But after seeing the trailers of Tenet, it looks like he came up with another ambitious, crazy idea with Tenet, which we don't know exactly 100% what that is going to be yet. But up to this date right now, Inception is absolutely that. It's completely original. There's no other movie like it. It's basically a heist film inside dreams, if you really think about it. Even to this day, I can watch it and pick up certain things that I might not have picked up, even though the movie's 10 years old. But absolutely amazing. It's a film that if you didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, they're actually re-releasing it before Tenet coming up this month. So go watch that shit in theaters. Absolutely amazing. The action set pieces are phenomenal. Dialogue is amazing. Great performances from every actor. And it's one of those movies that you absolutely have to pay attention to every single minute, because if you don't, you miss 5 minutes to go take a piss or go take a shit, you're not going to understand shit when you get back. It's one of those movies that you have to stay locked in with if you haven't seen it before. It can be a little confusing to stay with some of the story points, but everything is so well written, everything is so well thought out, and I love films that leave you putting your own thoughts and your own ideas into it, so especially with the way it ends. Again, I'm not trying to do too many spoiler things, but there's a little bit of an ambitious ending, and it kind of leaves you with this like shitty feeling of like, damn, I want to know Christopher Nolan's intentions of how this movie ends in his mind. I love that Christopher Nolan wanted to be interactive with his audience and say, hey, I want you guys to imply whatever's in your mind into the film, inject that in there, and however you feel like it ends is how it ends for you. It left us something to debate and talk about for the last 10 years. So yeah, one of my favorite movies of all time, my personal favorite Christopher Nolan film of all time. I would love to find out your personal list, so please leave a comment giving us your list, talking about your favorite Christopher Nolan films in his catalog. It would be much appreciated. Would love to have a conversation with you guys. And if you're excited to watch Tenet as much as I am, please like, comment, hit the notification bell. And until next time, guys, watch all of Christopher Nolan's films.